Hello, it's Trader Sam A. It's been a while since I've come in here. Um, just haven't seen any trades that I like to take. Anytime I thought I wanted to get in on a trade, it never got in at the kill zone time that I wanted. Until just now, I just took a trade here. Optimal trade entry short on Australian dollar. As soon as it touched the optimal trade entry right there, that's my trade. Stop loss right above here. So just to show it, entered here, stop loss here, about 13 pips, and then I'm looking for a full standard deviation of that range. About 50 pips. So that's the trade I'm looking at. We'll break it down further in terms of what I'm looking at, but generally, like, I wanted to get in here, but this happened prior to midnight, and then I didn't want to get in on a trade again. This was prior to midnight, so these were the entry points here to go short, but I didn't get it. The reason being time of day, and then I slept through London, and London just consolidated, made another push, and now I'm looking for a short. As dollar has been strengthening, US Aussie was also strengthening, mainly with gold because this is a commodity pair. But then yesterday it just completely broke down, and it didn't really give a chance for any entries to get in on this move. And then when it came here, like I said, there was no chance for entry because time of day matters. So now we are at kill zone. This is currently London close on a Tuesday, and again, my trade model is range expansion, so that's what I'm looking at. So I'm going to break this down. So from this high to this low, I'm going to change the color to this. And basically the same thing I expect to come down here. And then breaking this down even further, this high to this low, and then that's the expectation. But of course, I'm taking my trade out before it gets to the final stages. What am I targeting? These lows right here. That's the idea. Got my eyes here. And that's the trade that I want to see for the week. Don't want to push it more than that. Obviously, it could come down, but hey, we have a massive volume imbalance right here that it could come down to. And I am willing to take my profits at the top end of that. So, just going to change the color of this. So that's the idea. We do have some news later in the day at 5 p.m. New York time, Low speaks, hoping Aussie will provide that. Also, this is a market maker sell model, accumulation, reaccumulation, smart money reversal, low risk sell, first stage accumulation, second stage reaccumulation, and then I want to see it fall off. Again, on the high end would be the middle of this volume imbalance, and but I'm not even going to hold for that. I want a 50 pip trade, and I just want to take it one shot, one kill, call it a day. Okay, so I will probably check back in later in the day, after potentially the 5 o'clock news hour hits, 5 p.m. So unusual time, but hey, it could be the trigger. So um, would be better if it happens even before that, but I'm willing to hold all the way until um, tomorrow London session, maybe even New York session. So let's see. It really has to react here, though. If it goes any higher, what I'm looking at no longer applies. But right now, I want to see the second stage accumulation look the way it does and go from there. So check back in when I have some results. Okay, check in. It is now the next day, Wednesday at 9:10 in the morning. As you can see, the optimal trade entry did work. It just didn't give me the final target that I wanted. I wasn't home after I made this trade. I had some appointments, so I put a trailing stop as soon as I get to 25 pips, which is right below this low. As it did so, price continued to move, but then, you know, post London close, price went back up, which I didn't want to see. I wanted to see it be strong and aggressive. So I ended up with a 20 pip profit because the stop loss, the trailing stop loss was moving after 25 pips. I went as high as 45 pips for my entry, and then took me out at 20 pips. So overall, still not a loss, but um, I do wish that these lows got taken out. Um, that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Moving on, I just took another trade, and I'm currently looking at the US dollar CAD. Again, I've been saying for a long time now that CAD should be stronger. Look at oil prices. That's a reason to be stronger. And currently, again, the same trading model that I showed in Australian dollar, which is range expansion, which is what I like to call it. So range expansion, consolidation, and second range expansion. Even though it didn't complete, there's targets that were there to be taken. And if I was watching the market, I would have taken some profits at the 0.5 for sure. But again, trailing stop kept me in there, so I still took something in. USDCAD, I took a short right on this candle, so this 9 a.m. candle. Let's get into the 3-minute chart. No, sorry, 5-minute. I entered on this order block, which I'm treating as propulsion. So entered in the middle of this order block, and I put my stop loss literally right above this high, so I was pretty close for drawdown, but essentially, as Michael likes to teach, going back to the 1 hour, we have institutional order flow entry drill, touched it. I don't want to see it come back any deeper into this. So now, let's see, and then of course on the 1 hour chart, it did enter into this order block here. So having said that, stop loss is right here, super tight, 5 pips. That's for my target. Into this fair value gap right here. That's my target. I'll take partials along the way. For now, this is what it is. I saw this has taken out a short-term high, so now price should be going lower. I don't want to see it go up any higher. Don't want to see it take up any highs. This order block should essentially hold, and that's my trade. So again, propulsion candle, this order block right here. If we go into the bodies, this, to refine it, this is the order block using the bodies. So you know, I like where these candles are closing. This is exactly what we want to see. And in terms of range expansion, that's the idea. And the fact that this didn't come all the way down to this fair value gap means that there could be an earlier target. Yep, so going into the 2-hour chart. So this is where the target should be. So I'm actually going to refine my target a little bit better to be right here. So 75th target is what I'm looking at this point. So that's it. Hunting for trades. Gonna just putting both trades together just because it's been hard to find trades that I like. Hard to find trades of my model. Hasn't really given me too many entries, but here we are. Let's see if we can get something here. Okay, so I will check back in when I have results. Price went down a little, now it's coming back up. I've actually reduced my size, and I've put my stop loss right here. And because now what I'm seeing, what I want to see anyways, is an optimal trade entry right here, which it just touched. My entry's still here, so I'm holding on to that. These are equal highs. Price could obviously allow for this, where it comes up and then comes, but I'd rather not see that. And if it does do that, I will see if it gives me a reason to take it again for it to come down. But as of right now, these are the rules. This is what I'm holding on to. This breaker here on the 1-hour chart has not yet broken. So because of that, I'm allowing for it to come back into the premium of the breaker, which is what it's doing right now, right? So time of day is not favorable, but Canadian dollar likes to move late anyways, and this is the trade idea. So ideally don't even want to see like a turtle soup, anything like that. Just want to see it maybe come back to the top of this breaker, the premium, and then hang around there and then fall and come somewhere here, because these are still too clean. Okay, so take some profits at the 0.5 and the 1. So this is as close as it gets. That's the way to go. And you can tell the fair value gap on the 1-hour chart is 1.5 standard deviation of this. This breaker has already hit. So I'm holding on to this 1-hour chart. and optimal trade entry. All right, so until I have some results, what am I saying? So I'll check back in when I have some results. And we're back. It is the next day, Thursday, March 10th, 10:24 London close session, and prices hit the target that I wanted, the range expansion, and I am officially done for the week. There was a lot of back and forth, which was expected. I didn't want these highs to be taken out. My stop loss stayed where it needed to be. Just to expand this so we know, that was the trade. Of course, I said if price was going to come here, I would take it one more time, but definitely that was not necessary because we had a balanced price range, came up here at London close, institutional order for entry drill, optimal trade entry, and then hung around 8 o'clock New York session, which is Asian range. Sorry, the Asian session. The Asian session came back up, got real close, and still stayed intact. I was a little bit worried when it got here. If I got taken out, I got taken out, but we got what we wanted. And then came back again during 3 in the morning, which is London session. Again, this gray is the breaker, so this breaker is where I wanted price to hang around in. And then this breaker was official once it got to this point, which was at around 6 in the morning. No, 6 in the evening. So Asian session, when it made this protraction, I knew this breaker had to hold. So meaning that I didn't want price to go over this breaker, at least on a closing body standpoint. And hung out, and then late New York session, early London session today, it fell. With today's news, nothing about Canadian dollar, but there was volatility to be expected. So that was the trade I was looking at. This is what I wanted out of Aussie earlier in the week, and I didn't get it. I mean, I got some, that's why partials are important, but I didn't get what the initial thing was, and now it's running away the other way. Weaker dollar, which is what I wanted to see. So USDCAD gave me what I wanted. Exact same trade model. One worked out, one didn't work out. And when I said didn't work out, it didn't work out to the full extent, right? I still took my partials here at the 0.5 and the full standard deviation. I do have a small piece left, a very small piece, to take me into this fair value gap at the 1.2742 area, but the stop loss for that is fully broken even, so it's actually on a trailing stop, so it's just going to do its thing. It's either going to give it to me or not. Either way, that was a solid 70 pips. Can't ask for more than that. And there's the one shot, one kill. Again, I've been looking for stronger CAD for some time now, for weeks I've been saying it. It just wasn't giving it to me. Oil doing some market correction, but looks like Canadian dollar is catching up. And this is the manipulation that happens, right? They want to make sure that price isn't always in tandem, so that people that do follow intermarket analysis, they get tripped up. So you just got to find the model that you're looking for. When you see it happen, that's the truth. From a hard time frame standpoint, it touched this order block a second time, right? So just to draw this line out, that's the order block, touched it to the T, actually just missed it, but close enough. Fell. I didn't get any of this. No way for me to know this was happening. But then when this happened, 7 in the morning, institution order flow entry drill on the 1 hour chart. Then I saw it break down on the 5-minute chart. Right? Market structure shift. Entered right around here. When it entered into the propulsion candle on the 15-minute chart. So right here, right? So this is a propulsion candle, which I didn't want to see get taken out. Now, even though it did get taken out here, that's why later in the day I changed my stop loss, because now that this happened and it was coming back, I knew what I was looking for. This move was a little bit scary, like I said, but you know, that's just the way markets want to work at you. What I wish I knew how to trade better was knowing that it was going to come down, I take my profits, and then having the confidence to enter again. That's the piece that I don't have. I have the confidence to hold the price and be okay with the loss, but entering, taking profit, and then re-entering again to load up, I get scared of giving up the profit that I've already earned. So that's what I struggle with personally. But you know, as you can see, the breaker held. Right? It came down once, came down twice. When it came here, then it's your market structure that you can have confidence that this breaker is going to hold. And all it did was went to the top of the breaker, a little bit of wick, but bodies held, and then it fell now. Okay, so that's the trade for the week. So just to confirm, Aussie, I was able to take 20 pips, even though I could have taken 45 pips on this trade. I was able to get 20 pips on the trailing stop. And then on the USDCAD, I got myself a full first take profit was at the 50 pip mark. Second take profit was the 70 pip mark. So all is well. Until next time. Okay, so continuing on with a trade idea. Friday, March 11th. That's deep into the London session. Later in New York, we do have some of this. I am looking to enter right here on an institutional order flow entry drill. And so I have entered short to continue its wave of working its way into short-term trade, coming down potentially to the 2740 mark, 1.2740. And just to confirm the short and where I've placed it, literally right when it touched it here, stop loss right here, and targeting about 35 pips is what I put it. Okay, so that's the trade right now. Higher time frame ideas. Okay, so first and foremost, I guess I'll just get rid of this short because this short has taken and done what it needed to. So now I've got to move forward and see what's the next idea. So next idea is taking this and then expanding it down to here. This blue area is a fair value gap on the 6-hour chart that it has come down to. Aligned with this order block. Why am I using this order block? I can't really talk about it. There's something I see here that I can't talk about for why I see this order block as the one that is a reason to give it a bounce. Price went up after midnight, fell, entered on the institutional or for entry drill, and that's the idea. So I will check back in when I have some results. I just had to stop that video quickly, so I wanted to enter again as it was coming up. So I did enter a second position as it was getting into my drawdown. So my initial position was right at the top here, entered again right around at the 62 OTE. So this high to this low, optimal trade entry, looking for target 1 at around 27.42, target 2 at 27.25. So first target at 35 pips, second at 50 pips. Those are my targets. It's either going to give it to me or it's not. This breaker has to hold. Putting my stop loss here just to let it wick there if necessary. But right now, this is essentially the moment of truth where it's either going to bounce or it's going to take me out. 16 pip stop loss, so about 3 to 1 risk reward ratio. My first profit target being the 35% or 35 pips. It's about a 2 to 1 ratio. So 3 to 1, 2 to 1, that's the idea here. But 50 pips is the target, and that would essentially make it a good week. I've already gained 70 pips here. I thought I was done for the week, but considering the news that's coming out and the early start it has started, this is what I'm looking at. Obviously a market maker sell model here. Smart money reversal, low risk sell, first stage accumulation, second stage accumulation, and then this one should be the one that falls. So again, it's New York, it is late, I do have to get some sleep, so I'm gonna go to bed and hopefully this one will work out in my favor. If not, I get stopped out, and likely I'm done for the week because I don't want to take on more losses. But you know, if I see something like this again, so like what would allow me to re-enter again? So let's just say it takes out my stop and still hangs around. If there's an optimal trade entry for me to enter at the time that the news comes out at 8:30 in the morning, then I'll look into it. But more than likely not. I would rather see it move before the news and then after the news sort of consolidate. I've seen that happen before. Like for example here, crude oil came out and it didn't move much. So, and then Asian session made this and then fell. So I already talked about this, so I'm not going to get into that again, but this is a new idea and I don't want to see it come up all the way here. And if it does, then the market maker sell model idea I have here is not what I'm looking at. So, but until then, this is the trade, this is what I'm seeing, and hopefully it gets me there. So I'll check back in the New York session. Okay, and we're back. It's now 10 in the morning, 10:04 a.m., Friday, March 11th. News has dropped at 8:30 in the morning. Target 1 and target 2 has been acquired, 35 pips and 50 pips. So my last recording was as the price was going up here. Stop loss stayed the same, and you know, standard deviations of this range has hit. So overall, it's been a very good week. Took 70 pips here, 50 pips here, and then Aussie, as you know, got my 20 pips here on a trailing stop because I wasn't home when this was happening. So that's the week. Very good week. I thought I would put 3 videos or 3 days worth of trading together to put it out as a one weekly video rather than 3 smaller videos. Just felt like it was more efficient, and it's also time consuming to put up these videos, record them, so I just wanted to be better with my time and be more efficient. So again, if price came to the 27.42 and that's all it did, I would have been happy. 8:30 news came out, and again, there was no protraction in the market. So 8:30 came, and then it just fell. So the entry would have been when I took it in London session. I just happened to be awake, and it consolidated all the way until news came out, and then it fell, and then it gave me both my targets right away. And the range expansion is completed. Now we're in a consolidation. I don't expect anything. Looking at the dollar, every time dollar was, even though dollar here looks bullish, which it has this whole week, anytime dollar retraced, USDCAD was the trade that was working its way into. So again, it took some time to really see that that Canadian dollar is going to fall. Intermarket analysis, like I kept saying, was that Canadian dollar should be stronger. USDCAD should fall. And, I thought at first this swing high would have dropped it to go up, and then it didn't. And then it wasn't until this up close and then this down close candle happened that I said, all right, let's see if it can go down. And even if we could go down, at first my target was this fair value gap. And then when it fell again, or when it was consolidating again, that's when I saw the next optimal trade entry. So this is obviously my bread and butter. I've been showing this since I've started my videos. If there's anyone that wants to see something else out of these videos, feel free to comment. But otherwise, this is, again, for me to keep myself accountable, show my diary, my journal, and have a track record of my trading model over and over again. Like Michael says, price always repeats. So this is just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Even on Aussie dollar, even though I didn't get the full target, it was rinse and repeat. So that's it. That's the week. So until next time, cheers.